Hello YouTube. So today's video, as the title indicates, I really wanted to take 5-10 minutes and talk about why Mauritius, in my opinion, is not the new Dubai, but the real Dubai. And what I mean by that is what Dubai was initially supposed to be. Dubai was initially supposed to be, and I should clarify that further, I guess, in saying that I don't mean like the inception of Dubai and the UAE. I mean what they've tried to make of it in the last 5, 10, 15 years. So obviously leadership in that country worked really hard to try and make Dubai a world hub. They succeeded in that regard. The birds agree. But then the follow-up question is a hub of what? Initially, as somebody that lived in Dubai, has lived in Dubai, Dubai was like a hub for wealth, for investment. They really agree. For wealth, for investment, for culture, for business. A lot of really good things. And by the way, did I say my name is Pam? I'm a business lawyer and an entrepreneur. So that's why there's a lot of business and value-driven conversations on this channel. And of course, the first theme of this channel being luxury-driven conversation. So that's why we're going to talk about later in the video. You know, the more luxury side of life is the one I'm speaking to. But again, because of my background, somebody that was self-made and now works with very successful entrepreneurs and has very successful individuals in my circles that I can learn from. There's a whole lot of value-driven conversations that I bring into these videos as well. Back to the story. So Dubai was supposed to be this really exciting place, but the excitement was for what? Was the excitement so we could all go to Dubai, take our selfie and not spend a single dollar there? No, of course, the purpose, you know, one of the highest purposes was to generate investment vis-a-vis this worldwide attention put on Dubai. And they did so successfully, but at some point, Dubai kind of turned dark. And when I say this, given that you're watching YouTube, you're popular with YouTube, you might be popular with influencers that are on YouTube. So your mind might go there, and you're right to do so. Dubai turned kind of dark when business owners, entrepreneurial styles that were, how do I put it diplomatically? Well, maybe we just say it up front. People that weren't really successful kind of had a sliver of a shot to still try and see if they could crack it in Dubai, driven by advantages or perceived advantages like zero tax on income, things like that. So then that sort of greed, or maybe the word isn't greed, that sort of, it started to attract a level of person that in and of themselves, as they were, would not have been able to invest in Dubai. They had no money. They were just trying to go there. The fake it till you make it crowd, right? And this crowd became, you know, whether it was on the influencer side, there's a lot of stories of influencers living very, very, very terrible lives in Dubai. Whether it was on the customer service side, you know, more entry-level jobs. When I lived in Dubai, I knew people from certain countries, it doesn't matter what country they were from, but people from countries where they felt they would have better opportunities in Dubai, living like 4 grown women to a bedroom, not a 1-bedroom apartment, a bedroom within a multi-bedroom apartment. I knew men living multiple men to a bedroom. So, but when you go outside, you know, they're acting like they're big shots. They're really trying again to bridge that gap between what their reality is and what their ambitions are. And that is what started to really pump the gas on toxic culture in Dubai. So there came to be this level of, I don't want to say discomfort, because we've all been there. If you've made it, you know at some point in your journey, if you're self-made, we all had the fake it till you make it. But there's levels to that. Like there's certain lines I would never have crossed, I would never cross today. So then there starts to be a point where if you go to Dubai, you're kind of now on edge. If you're going there for business, entrepreneurialism, investments, things like that, you're kind of now on edge all the time, because you know there's a very high chance, like it used to be like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, where genuinely successful business persons, birds of a feather flock together. Now if you go to the conferences, to the big shows, to the this and that, there's a high chance that like the number is kind of reversed. 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 are not actually going to be what you would look for in a business partner, including the fact that they're probably faking it and have no money to invest in any ventures anyways. So, Dubai summarized. Coming now to Mauritius. Mauritius is a place that, again, what were we trying to get when we started all this hullabaloo in Dubai? Bring money home. Same thing now with Mauritius. What makes it so great? Why do I say it's the new Dubai? A lot of the reasons are going to be founded in money, talks of money. Mauritius is expensive just to get to. It's not your, if you're from the US, your local, $95 flight to Mexico. If you're in Canada, your $200 flight to the Dominican. It ain't that. Mauritius is, personally for me, the most expensive place I have flown to. And I know scientifically on planet Earth, Hawaii, the Hawaii Islands are the most remote islands on Earth. So technically Mauritius is not even the most remote place on Earth, but it is hella expensive to get to. Secondly, life in Mauritius is really expensive. Housing in Mauritius is expensive. And I give here the caveat. Remember in the beginning I mentioned this is a luxury oriented channel, that we are talking about the luxury side of life. In Dubai, I was able to live in a 5-star hotel for $50 a night. In Mauritius, the resort I'm in right now, people are paying tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month to foot their housing bill. It takes a lot more money to live on the truly luxury end of the spectrum here. And also the third thing is that the everyday lifestyle experiences are expensive here as well. Food is expensive, whether you buy it at the grocery store, whether you get it at home. I was looking at the buffet options at the resort where we're staying. Buffets aren't my favorite. They don't really work well for my family, but there's like this billboard with all the menus of the day kind of thing. And my eye glanced over the buffet. They were having a seafood buffet the other day for what in Canadian dollars would have been the equivalent of like $250 a person. I looked at that and it felt sickening that a family of 5, a family of 10, like we are talking in the thousands of dollars for one meal for a large family. That to me, that's where again the second theme of the channel comes, and where you should subscribe if you're looking for really authentic hustle bustle style luxury conversations and value driven conversations, the touch grass approach, if you will. That's just damn stupid. I cannot think of a luxury buffet in Canada, for example, that would cost me that much. And here, that's like the starting point. No drinks, none of that. At the grocery store, things that would cost $1 or $2 in Canada are $5 or $6 here. So it's very expensive all around. Transportation is expensive if you're going to take the fancy taxis, which you are. There comes a point in your successful journey where it's not about snobism, it's about convenience, it's about relaxing, it's about being able to breathe in the taxi, and there's no ribs, and the driver isn't crazy, and the this and the that, and it's comfortable. And there's the amenities you need to plug in a phone, do something, take a business call, things like that. So all of these things are really expensive. What is that going to mean? Who's going to be here? Because you can fake one thing. One of the easier things to fake, for example, for influencers that are just starting, and I know this being a lawyer, seeing certain kinds of clients that come my way, things like that. One of the easiest things to fake is clothing. You can fake clothing for a $0 cost to you. You can get the luxury clothes, you can return them, $0 paid. Okay, next you might fake a car. That can be faked, in terms of like a short lease. Like you might lease a Lamborghini for the day. Lamborghini Huracan, my favorite. You might lease that for the day for maybe, it used to be a few hundred, now it's like $1,000 to $2,000, but that certainly beats $500,000 for buying one outright. So there's these things you can fake, but you can even scrap together some change for the plane ticket here, sure. But you can't fake housing, you can't fake lifestyle, you can't fake the everyday big purchases that are required to be made in Mauritius. Unless, I guess there's a way that you could if you go the Dubai way and you could have, 35 people living in a villa, but arguably at a resort of repute, no one's gonna let that happen. Like where I am, one person can't visit me without me having to clear it with multiple security guards. So Mauritius has become a place where it really, you really need to walk the money walk in addition to talking the money talk. And that's why I say I think it's what Dubai was supposed to be and stay in terms of like a real money club. Mauritius is that new place. And when you put together, patterns about wealth, wealth books, like I was 9 years old reading books on how to make money. That's how hungry I was to make the money, but also that was genuinely content that was interesting to me. I remember a lot of books say, 80-90% of wealthy people, not salaried, individuals like multimillionaires, are business owners. It's kind of like the insurance scenario where the insurance company doesn't know who's going to die, but they know this level of people will die at 50, this number of people will die at 60. Same thing when it comes to wealth. You might not know exactly who's a business owner by looking at them, but it's like 80-90% chance that a lot of the big money around here is from business owners, from entrepreneurs, from successful ones. So again, that kind of bridges the story together. Dubai was meant to be a hub for money, for financial investment, for business owners. I think it kind of went a little awry when the influencer crowd caught on, and also just the genuine, really hardworking crowd that fakes it till they make it for very different reasons, less flashy reasons that we don't see on camera. I think Mauritius is still holding out really, really well to be a place where you really, really need a lot of money to succeed. And if you're watching from that perspective of looking to be around birds of a feather, other individuals that would be able to invest in your business, other individuals that you could invest in because they've already had that experience of learning how to make money, things like that, Mauritius, I would strongly recommend as a place to go. Not to mention it's beautiful. We could do a lot of business talk in snowy Toronto, in New York, and this and that, but come on. Mauritius kind of puts the cherry on top when it comes to the personal lifestyle as well. Thank you for watching.